Okay guys, this is a little video about FDM printing. So FDM printers are on the whole inexpensive. Yeah, I mean they're now like so cheap that you can actually have them at home as desktop printers. So these are really good for early level prototyping and modeling. Like they're not good for high resolution, high performance structural, like functionally structural models. They're fine for just like low level prototypes. So the way they work is you have a spool of what we call filaments on the top here. This is, I mean, you can get these in a wide range of materials, but the most commonly used ones are PLA. You can see on here PLA filament. And then the reason for this is, or the reason these are good is these have a relatively low printing temperature. And they're also biodegradable because it stands for polylactic acid, which is actually a plant-based polymer. And what happens is the extruder head here, this heats it up and it's fed through this little hose here that goes into the extruder head and it squeezes it out a little bit like ketchup coming out of a bottle. And this will move around on the build platform. So that's the X-axis there, the Y-axis comes forwards and backwards there. And then the whole thing can move up and down. See if I can show you that. Yeah, the whole thing can then move up and down there. You can see it just moving up and down there. So that's then the Z-axis. So yeah, they're great, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong with these. I mean, essentially you've got four motors moving all at the same time because you've got the motor for the Z going up and down, you've got the motor for the X going sideways, and the Y going forwards and backwards, and you've got the motor for the spool, which feeds the material into the extruder head, and then you've got the extruder as well. So it's actually a lot of things. That's like, yeah, a lot of motors and heaters going on there. So these are good, but they're quite problematic and they're quite prone to going wrong. They come in a range of sizes. Like the build size of this is reasonably good. Like you can literally, or what we call the build volume. So this one can basically do a build that's the size of the plate there and about that height there. It's pretty big, these ones. Yeah, and the rule with these goes, I'm just gonna walk you into the other 3D printer room now. The way these print means that the faster the print, the lower the quality, because when the print head moves faster, the quality goes down. So I'm just going to show you one that's printing now on there. So you can see here, this one's moving reasonably fast, but it's a much better 3D printer, so the quality's better. Another downside as well is you have a lot of this stuff around the side of the print, which is called support structure. So support structure is essentially the scaffolding that holds up parts of the design which would be overhanging. So you can see all this stuff here, that's all support structure. And it's really annoying to get off, and it often can break models when you actually remove it. So yeah, I'd say in summary, the positives are that it's a quick, well, actually no, sorry, what am I saying? It's not quick. In summary, it's a cheap machine, it's a cheap process, the filament is cheap as well. You can get a wide range of filaments, and yeah, and you can build like pretty complex models, like big build volumes, yeah, and it's just good for like early stage prototyping.